Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever. Now you shall perish! Illusion shattered!
Gotta dash!
Huh? Yeah. Ha! Let's light it up! I'm going in! Huh?
Let's nip that in the bud. And shroud.
Torn to oblivion! All the world holds dear. Is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging. Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever.
Need a surfboard? Ever tried chasing waves before? You want to try? Well, come on, no time like the present. I'll help you find the closest beach.
Off we go. Let's light it up. Adventure time.
There is no escape.
Teamwork is dreamwork. Why do they never miss? Off we go. Let's light it up.
Now you shall perish. Shine down.
Come on out! Let's shred, Sharky! Hey!
Everybody stand back. Adventure time. Oh, ow. Where did that come from? Benny's Adventure Team, assemble! Oh. Or not. Off we go! Benny's Adventure Team, assemble! Or not. Let's go find some treasure. Benny's Adventure Team, assemble! Or not. adventure time! Good things come to those who don't wait around. That's what they say, anyway. Knowing my luck, the opposite is probably true for me. Oh, ow! Where did that come from? Got him! Let's go find some treasure.
The wind knows me.
Oh, ow! Where did that come from? No one's joined me on an adventure in ages. Come on, let's go! Benny's adventure team, assemble! Oh. 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 Or not. Oh, ow! Where did that come from? Let's go find some treasure. Oh, ow! Where did that come from?
The world remains constant over the centuries, but human life is like the dew at dawn, or a bubble rising through water. Transitory. to oblivion! There is no escape!
I'm going in!
Shine down! Now you shall perish!
Adventure time!
Everybody stand back!
As one with wind and cloud, one with
Skyward! I'm going in! Let's light it up!
Why do they never miss?
Torn to oblivion!
fallen leaves. Adorn my
Illusion
night.
shattered!
Teamwork gets dreamwork!
Adventure time!
Everybody stand back!
Off we go!
I'm going in!
Inazuma shines eternal! There is no escape! Shine down! shattered!
Into the wind.
Seize the stars! Let's light it up! Everybody stand back!
There is no escape!
As one with wind and cloud.
Torn to oblivion! Shine down!
Confirmed! Let's light it up!
Now you shall perish! There is no escape!
Everybody stand back!
Illusion shattered! Torn to
Adorn my
oblivion!
night. One with nature.
Seize the stars!
Adventure time! That's gonna hurt in the morning.
Clouds high. The birds call. The wind knows me.
Strength cloud converged! Scatter! Now you shall perish!
Everybody stand back! Let's light it up!
Shine down!
As one with wind and
Inazuma
cloud.
shines eternal!
One with nature.
Let's light it up! Teamwork is dreamwork!
There is no escape!
Clouds high. The birds call.
Going in!
Illusion shattered!
Into the wind.
Torn to oblivion!
Everybody stand back!
There's no escape! Inazuma shines eternal! Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever.
The sea.
All the world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging. Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever. All the world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging. The world remains constant over the centuries, but human life is like the dew at dawn, or a bubble rising through water. Transitory. All the world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging. Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever. All the world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging. The world remains constant over the centuries, but human life is like the dew at dawn, or a bubble rising through water. Transitory.
Thank you for
Ooh, you restaurant? That place isn't even worth mentioning.
rebooting.
Why do new explorers make the same mistakes over and over again?
Ooh, you restaurant? That place isn't even worth mentioning.
All the world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging.
Come and try some creative cooking.
Error.
Ooh, you restaurant?
Why do new
That
explorers
place
make the
isn't
same
even
mistakes
worth
over and
mentioning.
over again?
Come and try some creative cooking.
Error.
Ooh, you restaurant? That place isn't even worth
Why do
mentioning.
new explorers make the same mistakes over and over again?
Come and try some creative cooking.
Error.
is, hasn't it? So much has been happening. Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about it, but it's hard to say. After all, you're the most reliable did you just pour some tea? Then what's that? Paimon's never seen that cup before!
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea. I merely refrained from saying anything till now.
Who's that voice? But there's no one here!
And yet even you feel confused. As such, consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple on a whim. Precisely. Call me N, a mage who wanders the world. At least, that's how my friends have suggested that I introduce myself. The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
What? Then is there any way we can stop it?
People call such things fate, and it is written in the stars. It cannot so easily be altered. So you've caught on. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, are the things that you shall...
What is she talking about? It all sounds really impressive and important and stuff, but...
I believe that you understand, right? Some things are insignificant, but others you must reach out to change. Ultimately,
The voice... it's gone. What? Paimon hears someone talking. Alright, coming! Hey, it's you who's getting lazy, okay?
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Luna!
Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that Steambird panel. It turned out to be more interesting than I expected. Not all Fontanians are pessimistic about this. One journalist mentioned that sitting around and waiting for the end to come would be wrong, and that they should make their own rescue preparations. I agreed, so we had a brief chat with her.
Did she have pink hair by any chance?
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. I'm in full support of her view.
That's right! Paimon's glad to hear something sensible for once.
Ah, yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the gods gave...
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. But I've never met her, and if she were still alive...
Whoa.
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying.
Well, it's not like Paimon could...
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still... Perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now. Traveler?
Oh, we're...
I see. I guess you could consider me someone who has... But even so, I still hope for and believe in miracles. Astrology is eternal and rational, but fate may not be. It is cruel, but it can also be beautiful. Perhaps that's what En was trying to tell you. Not to lose heart, and to believe that what you are seeing playing out before you is not yet set in stone. I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even if this is all futile, I still wish to help everyone. If we don't struggle to the last, then how can we face the end when it comes?
Huh. You do have a point.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. Sorry about it. Was worth trying to comfort you, even if only a little. I believe that you'll help those who are struggling in the same way I did. I suppose that might be why...
Paimon feels kinda moved by what Mona said. But also kinda sad, too. Hey, Traveler. Paimon suddenly feels like going outside. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by. And away I go! Faster! things are written in this newspaper. What's going on? Let Paimon see! The underwaters... My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Huh. Guess Charlotte still hasn't given up on that. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report? A blonde adventurer with their... So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed doors, do not fear. Journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet. Huh. Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we never even noticed her. She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's using us as the subject matter instead? Ugh, seriously?
So these are the kind of headlines they're going for these days.
We're here! Paimon's... Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried it, despite...
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after... Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Nervalette was right. You really can eat.
Wait, did he really say something like that?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for me, I love the cake and coffee here.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and coffee.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore? What would you think?
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but... Maybe the waters will rise tomorrow. You know, like in the prophecy.
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No. Still, even if there'd be no more cake tomorrow, that wouldn't keep me from having some today. No. It's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call living, you know.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call being sad.
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach us things about humans. She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily, yes, and you can only lift their spirits by feeding them delicious food. So please try the cakes here. I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You two try to stay in a good mood after eating, all right? Bye.
And there she goes. All right, let's dig in. Paimon's sure this cake will be delicious. It's more delicious than last time. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious.
If you want tea or water, just help yourselves.
Ugh, I'm so annoyed.
Gotta make sure Lynette stays away from the dish racks.
When will Lenny and Lynette do another show?
If you want tea or water, just help yourselves.
Woo! Whoa! Ah! Whew.
Ugh, I'm so
Gotta
annoyed.
make sure Lynette stays away from the dish racks.
If you want tea or water, just help yourselves.
Gotta make sure Lynette stays
Ugh,
away from the
I'm
dish
so
racks.
annoyed. Forget about me.
When will Lenny and Lynette do another show?
If you want tea or water, just help yourselves.
You can only do so much on your own, but with a group, anything's possible.
Gotta make sure Lynette stays away from the dish racks.
Forget about me.
Let's ride! Woo! Whoa! Ah!
Exactly.
When will Lenny and Lynette do another show?
Art is the ingredient. Forget
If you
about
want
me.
tea or water, just
This
help
is about
yourselves.
What did you want exactly?
Ugh, so annoyed.
Gotta make sure
When
Lynette
will
stays
Lenny and
away from the
Lynette do
dish
another
racks.
show?
If you want tea or
Forget
water,
about
just
me.
help yourselves.
This is
What exactly?
Bastard!
When will Lenny and Lynette do another show?
I gotta make sure Lynette stays away from the dish racks.
Ever tried chasing waves before?
Lenny and Lynette
You wanna
do
try?
another show?
Well, come on, no time like the present. I'll help you
Gotta
find the
make sure
closest
Lynette
beach.
stays away from the dish racks.
When will Lenny and Lynette do another show?
about me. This is about what you want.
What did you
Bastard!
exactly?
Make sure Lynette stays away from the dish racks.
Art is the key ingredient in fine dining. Forget about me. This is so annoying.
What did you want?
Oh, we're near the Seabird office. Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
Woo! Whoa!
Must rely on the ocean's self-cleaning ability. We cannot just rely on the ocean's self-cleaning ability.
Need a surfboard? Carving waves! Off you go!
A good newspaper should be a lighthouse of truth.
Hello, hello.
most important part of going out to have fun is,
A good
well,
newspaper
going
should be
out.
a lighthouse of
So
truth.
just show up and I'll handle the rest.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Oh, have you seen the article I wrote about you?
Ha! You've got some nerve! You just used us to make some quick.
Oh, you need. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some food.
Really? Oh, you're the best!
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives, you'd be in trouble now, you know.
Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you looking for me?
A friend of ours met you a while back, and when she mentioned it, we thought of coming to see you. Her name's Mona.
Ah, so you know Miss Mona as well. She's a guest columnist for our paper. Really good one, too. She's so young and already such a brilliant astrologist. So she mentioned me? What did she say?
She said that you're a real daredevil of a journalist.
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request an exclusive interview with the legendary Traveler and Paimon?
Huh? So your article in the paper today doesn't count?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was...
Yeah.
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview,
Oh. In that case, we'll just chat when you have the time then?
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! Ooh, so much to get...
Wait, Charlotte. Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example, Fontaine were to be flooded tomorrow, what would you do today?
Huh. That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but if you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist, first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And secondly, I wouldn't forsake my homeland that easily. From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. In truth, it might be better just to behave like normal rather than worry over such an end. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. That sounds a bit sad, but I've always believed that it's best to do what you enjoy. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be sudden... And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get copies out to the various nations as soon as possible. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic, but I do love my job. And I'd be proud of leaving such an article behind. I guess you could... But anyway, that's my answer. And on that note, I'll get back to my preparations.
That's so nice. All of a sudden, Paimon actually kinda envies her. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh? Paimon's been thinking. If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do? No, Paimon should ask, if you could choose, what would you like to do? We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. You mean, still traveling? Huh. like you'll grow mold if you stay here long enough. But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not only damp there, but salty too.
Ah, so the two of you are still here. Wonderful.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the fortress. Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to pass along a message from him. Yes, inside the Opera House.
A riot?
Well, that said, Lady Farina was loudly accusing, and before she could respond, the crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for—
I agree.
So what happened after—
Seeing that the Marechaussee—
So, you mean she's—
That's right. The Marechaussee has dispatched many people. That said, I don't think there's much good. Monsieur Nervillet—
Don't worry, this is more than enough to go on. Thanks for keeping us informed.
Ah, is that so? Well, all right then.
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, and as we also know, she may be when Nervillet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, she couldn't hide her sadness and remorse. It would be hard for her to ignore being accused by the public today. Paimon thinks Farina— Huh! Well, what do you think? In that case, there's not a moment to—
What's taking him so long? I guess I'm finally on the same.
This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of death at station. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible. That's Farina, right over there! She really is here all on her own.
should I just give up? This is all. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. But what can I even do? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina, it's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects, come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you?
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. Who did they even dare to tout their Archon? I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marche Chaussee Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't they? That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Farina just ran off. Quick, we have to catch up with her. This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
What is this place?
Hurry, they're almost here.
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
Paimon's exhausted.
I'm so tired. I totally thought they had caught me. No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm.
Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening?
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well, there's no...
Yeah, I hope you're... But the people... It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feed. I've tried all kinds of ways too to hold back, but all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me we cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, give up, indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times, especially after we almost lost Poisson. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just started to come true, and so many people have already lost their lives. But just now, it all became clear to me. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maid. Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone. A witness. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you? If that's the case... I...
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender?
Wow.
Lady Farina, what is...
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding.
Looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands I will admit that I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I too But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to... Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true This time... Applaud and rejoice! One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words, this shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine! The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalor...
Woohoo! Oh, now we're making history!
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time.
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent. Also, please allow me to ask just how much work.
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to this.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rasula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, so we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean the ones who scoured the
And their goal...
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Aaron was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in... We had to select a location, construct a giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I...
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most...
Thank you.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the... Oh? Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte! Oh, let Paimon see. Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? So she's already finished it, huh? Wait. Then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine! So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument! Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right. This is the first time Monsieur Neuvillette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something's... I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, the fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day. According to Monsieur Neuvillette, both Child and that whale should have been in the primordial sea at that time. I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence. A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on. Just fast forward. Of course. It is only natural for humans to...
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct. Instead, I would like to charge you as a...
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking...
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat...
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but...
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think? And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
That doesn't sound right. Paimon... First of all, you...
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You...
A curse? I once thought it possible, but in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Neuvillette sensed it too, huh?
Lady Farina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera.
That doesn't sound right. You tried to reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules.
I know.
That was no
So, you neither knew why Child was declared. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the
real Hydro Archon. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independent. You can't argue that just because a divine creation.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's
my power.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared.
You don't need to go.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that
Indemnitium? Yes, it's all because of Indemnitium. All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy.
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Please, you've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true,
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our...
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such.
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? It has been established that
since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls out...
Well, of course he had to... She's just staring at the water.
What's going on? Is she really planning to... that's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
Hey!
I'm fine! Look! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most
Miss Siegeween? If you're present, Miss Siegeween,
Siege? Don't be nervous. It'll that should be enough.
please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegeween.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation. She was experiencing...
Thank you, Miss Siegeween.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved.
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a It's a great thing that the
I can't believe... You... Listen to me, everyone! Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Farina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale.
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's
No.
Isn't that correct?
However, to be punished...
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given.
Furina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate this quick?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate?
Yeah! Even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Furina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! Oh, you finally made it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of this. But has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late?
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me... Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing...
Huh? So what do you see?
I believe I've now...
Huh? So when you say you had...
In truth, however, I'm uncertain...
Okay, let's try to... The first stone slate describes what you just said. Does that mean that the second stone slate, this must be the point when the Hydro-Arch... The third slate shows the Hydro-Archon seeking into the seas. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea. The Hydro-Arch... We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a question of when and not...
We know from the case of the serial, and the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontainians can dissolve. Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervalette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, has recorded on the stone slates. It's not as simple as falling into when the prophecy from the fortress, if we
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea, but won't cease to exist. their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an Oceanid. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to Navia fell into the water and the eruption of the The stone slate's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truth should... Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! So that's how you can make sense of it! But then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Let's hear them.
Incredible.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in... Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably anchored that could also...
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese.
Yeah, isn't the... So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling... In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of... When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
Well? Did you get it?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human...
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death.
After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates, a key point of the visual on the third, they have not been dissolved. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment. You may also recall not. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. In truth.
What should we do? If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your about the fourth slate. You probably thought, however, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before. This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come.
It was both
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
the truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your...
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale it has been greedily consuming the energy from... And once it has
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanid...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood. Therefore, when it left the Primordial Sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food.
We just barely...
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some... From the way he looked, he must have been fighting...
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster...
It is too late. It had already absorbed too... Even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything. We've come so far.
Indeed, that's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been... Just as prophecies are... Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only...
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Furina! No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face.
You are not Furina.
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor.
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. The heavenly principles.
Deceiving the...
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, she knew full well that the prophecy... And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that... One defies the heavenly... So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible... I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian... But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I...
So you were also once one of the Oceanids?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be... After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit. leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my path. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, she could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Furina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the Heavenly Prince. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon, alone, weeping, in order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled. I invited Furina to be an actress, to play under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called
But Furina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure.
It has indeed. And although it's been 500, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and
Oh, who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration. All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance. I am both.
Need a surfboard?
Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Got a dash.
There is no escape!
Ninjutsu!
Torn to oblivion!
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards! Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Catch an epic wave! Hey, almost dodged that.
I'm going in! Let's light it up!
Gotta dash.
Off we go!
Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not
Wait a moment. You're... mirror me? How can... mirror me? What?
The prophecy.
What prophecy? Wait. I know. I think... I don't know why, but it's in my head somehow. The people will all be dissolved into the waters.
Oh.
What's going on? I can't seem to remember.
Yes, it will. And that...
But doesn't that mean everyone will die?
I will tell you how to save everyone, but...
Oh, so there's still hope. As for this, but if the prophecy will come true, I'll if there were scale.
I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role. That of the new Archon.
Play as...
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your identity be revealed, then all hope will be lost.
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god without being exposed.
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. You simply need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Being a human, remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity.
I'm still not sure. So...
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years. You will endure and not grow old until your task ends. But I promise you, all will eventually end in a magnificent and dramatic trial, and everyone will be saved.
A trial, huh? How exciting. I'll be looking forward to it. The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession, but this is my first time facing the people. What should I say to most appear like a god? To be honest, I still don't know. Perhaps I should first try to act ladies and gents, I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro-Archon. In truth, as the god Focalor. Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send them to the Maison Cardinalise. The future of Fontaine with this should do it. I thought I might stammer, but
That's the new Hydro-Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the difference between her and an ordinary person?
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just be a Maison back puppet.
wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake? Oh, this is bad. If I get exposed here, there'll be no saving the people from the prophecy. Right. Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Calm down, Farina. Assertive. Now, I was wondering if some weak... you may consider my previous... now then...
So that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were in...
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that this nation's sins can... The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its God. On one side, it must carry fairness and just... May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our... No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they... No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to... No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to... There is, so long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the opera...
Yes! Oh, yeah!
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Besides, a
That's true. I fear I lack the ability.
No need for fright. And do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now.
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see me.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of All right. Deoteria, is it? How?
You remembered me, and you knew of my family, too. He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I. He was the one who forced me to seek an audience with you, and to bring your words back to him.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen again in the future, please do not hesitate to come and tell me. Going down to citizens' homes every so often, while not usual practice, should serve as a fine change of pace.
You're such a gentle and wise god. Thank you once again, on behalf of my son.
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific parameters you asked to take note of, I'm afraid things still don't look good.
I see. It's as I thought, then. As your god, I did already expect this, but I wanted to see how far your human wisdom would allow you to analyze it. All manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come to pass. Forget it. That's not something you need to worry about right now.
Well, as I understand it, the Fontaine Research Institute is all—
Really? Have they found anything?
I'm afraid that they haven't found any effective solution thus far.
Oh, is that so? Well, no wonder. This issue has reached the realm of the— The day is finally over. I haven't had a moment, but it's good to see that everything's getting on track. There are no longer any voices of suspicion. Maybe this is fine. I just need to keep going, and everyone will be saved. All right, Farina, don't think too hard about this. You need rest. Tomorrow's a new day.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases, as well as a summary of the follow-up.
They'll...
Lady Farina, I've waited so long for this chance to see you in this manner.
Indeed,
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies near Poisson.
Understood. I feel...
Lady Farina, I've heard that the my lady?
What is it?
Are you crying?
This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god who's
No wonder.
So hundreds of... I never imagined that it would have... I've conducted so many investigations across... All I can do is keep up.
Farina, although I don't know what...
Share. That's impossible.
But even if you're... just share it with me. I'm what you'd call a witness.
A witness. And if to... He's right. But if things don't play out as expected, the people of No, Farina. You shouldn't be selfish. But what if, Farina, is it if you let this opera think about it long and hard? No. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't...
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, you must first deceive yourself. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, Fontaine would have been doomed to the most tragic fate. It seems that trusting humanity...
I believe that... How would you build on this foundation?
Ah, good, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the... I'm sure...
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a... It now seems that that...
And then I became one with the oratories, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes. Alas, your understanding of this device still In truth, it is no... Oh, my work, but really, the vast majority has been. had to be accumulated.
It was all...
Indeed. This power accrued over 5 centuries, but...
So the Oratrices... The destruction of that divine throne...
Returning what's rightfully yours. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the High...
But...
Oh, what? The authority of the ancient...
All you've done throughout...
I've never quite... Hydro Dragon. I must say, had it been within my right, Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. And I, for my part, speaking of justice, I have always believed that just so, if the theft of the primordial sea, then, leaving in other words, defying the... At this point, we, Eudex Nerv...
So when I was... At last. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually... You are things being as they are. Surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervalette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
I, Eudex Nervalette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
Was that
But...
It's time to end. I have gained that we should seize the opportunity to pursue Traveler. Now that the the root of the... Come with me, Traveler. already done my best to settle the power that I will receive from the whale. Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. We shall share part of the ancient dragon's power with you. We'll look for an opening together. I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility.
Shine down! There is no escape!
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. It can't present itself.
Thingy over there. It looks really scary.
Shine down!
I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
Let's light it up!
Come on out.
Illusion shattered! Shine down! Let's light it up!
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It was just supposed. Well, actually, I had a.
Paimon has an idea. It's just that he gave us the impression that she was the...
I simply. So you may speak to me as equal. I have to. That kind of power. All in all. The point.
Well, so what sort of
Oh, right. So you. His name is Sertologi.
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous.
The Foul?
Still nothing.
Ooh, that one we've heard. Rhyme Doctor's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, but I suppose you want.
Wait, didn't you also mention a visionary person?
Actually, never mind that. I bet the all-devouring narwhal used up such roiling hide as such. The Fontaine back. In other words, the prophecy that.
What?
Not to worry.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Hey! Help! Over here!
All hands, initiate emergency rescue!
Hurry! Hey, lend a hand! Look! The water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you alright?
We're safe. The prophecy was wrong.
No one's joined me.
The soil renewed. The Svina Diva old soil can still skyship the various disputes that have arisen. People always. Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Nav?
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The value for these big scoops lies in their Edwin's assistant, Jurier created.
Paimon's Jurier?
And that's exactly. Oh, this time. Benny's adventure. Adventure time. Faster.
Carving waves. Let's ride.
shines eternal!
Going in! Gotta dash! Yeah! Huh? Shred, Sharky! Yeah!
There is no escape! Illusion shattered!
Gotta dash!
Shine down!
Make my escape. Make my escape.
Oh, it's you.
Hey, I'm here to update.
Let me introduce you. This is Mr. a resident.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of, but if you don't
I get where you're coming from.
that would be fine. Thanks.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down.
Huh?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson.
Oh, wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions? You know, about how you felt before the duel.
Forget it.
I see you're the same as.
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a.
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let him off that easy. All right, then everyone who.
How did it go? Was it a good shot? Did Paimon look...
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots. All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
You're very quick.
Speed is up. Also, not to.
Wow, you really do have that never say.
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the Fortress of Meripede.
Whoa, you're well.
That's a...
In truth, I told him that it was...
You're right.
Stay safe now, and...
Make my escape. Wow, guess we're here again, huh? There's a real nostalgia.
Looks like you've been missing us.
Duke! Did you?
Oh.
Of course.
It's an honor to finally.
No need to thank.
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way. It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear beside that of Mr. Jurier, hmm?
Sir, please.
But it looks like dear Miss...
No, I just...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. And I'll be honest, the boat that brought... Still, if I might ask, where's...
Huh. Looks like Charlotte's trying to get herself another exclusive...
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our
Really?
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps you'd like to take another photo of this couple of researchers?
Did you really have to use the word couple? Well, then, 2 solo photos will do.
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a...
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to try the...
Ah, siege...
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Why don't you... Sure.
Huh? Sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been at the fortress?
Same old, same old.
Other than that flying ship.
That's why I decided...
You're too kind.
I see.
He sure did...
I'll tell them that they're...
Oh.
What change can there be as to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed? We'll...
Hey, everyone. The photo shoot's done.
Good. In that case, let's call it...
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, Traveler, let's go. Till next time.
There'll be an...
Maybe. All right. Last stop, the docks.
Carbon waves!
Need a surfboard? Off you go. Need a surfboard?
They really are here!
Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with...
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte, too.
Would you like a magic pocket? What sort of gadget is it?
It's a wondrous bad
Trick a friend? I wonder which of my friends would.
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I?
Lynette sure is working hard to help Fremine so.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our magic show.
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an...
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
Oh, it'll work out.
Lynette, could you...
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. Father says that you did a...
That's out.
Oh, after Lady Farina left, Father and Monsieur Nervillet
A diplomatic.
Yes, I was quite... It could have been done. Furthermore, I would agree. I suspect you'll...
Isn't he real busy and stuff? Paimon didn't think he'd have it, but that...
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya.
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui. To think we'd be allied with them.
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Father!
Well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the travel.
Are you going to take the nose?
That is our duty as harbor. Don't be too... Switching my masks is something I've all... Well, that depends on many things. No, as for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners. A vision? All right. I'll
And that's a wrap for me. Huh? You're...
Greetings, Miss Journalist. That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about... The sea breeze is quite pleasant.
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled interviews. Thank you all. This'll be more than...
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, Traveler, Paimon, you take one too.
To move things about?
That's right. I guess this must be life. All right then. We'll be handing...
Well, guess we sent Charlotte out. Shall we go see her Nervillet? Let's ride!
Need a surfboard? Faster!
The entrance to the fortress! Ooh, he really is there! Carving waves! So, you really are here, Nervillet! Paimon didn't think you were going to have...
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. In any case, you came at a good...
Alright, let's... Whoa. So that's what Fossilor did, but Paimon still doesn't quite get what you...
For me, The authority of the ancient dragons refers to Fontanians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitution. But so long as those primordial energies in other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontani...
Fossilor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Yeah!
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
When we spoke, we guessed that...
So regarding this specific issue, in truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Well, we're going...
What next?
I can find... It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons. But with something very similar to a god's... I'm sure I've encountered something like this before.
I do not know what...
Of course. You should have the remains of the third...
Remain?
Huh.
Well, that much is true, but I fear I have never heard of it described.
I've been training with my master, the Fowl, ever since. It is only natural regardless, to live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies...
What do you mean?
No need to
This third...
Master if you're interested, though, I could ask him.
Next time. You believe we will meet again?
I do.
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not,
The remains of... So that...
all the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that is what she meant.
And she said...
If she speaks the... I guess that you might that means that...
Like... No, comparing the Traveler to... That's what you...
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking. The same is true of being at court.
All right.
Yes.
But...
I suppose that would be the I suspect not. But once in a while I too would guess that if life flows like water, and what